Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Good afternoon. It is Saturday, December 11th, 2021, and this is Grapsody, and you're about to listen to us talk graps. I'm Will Washington, but I'm not alone here because I am also joined by Mr. Philip Lindsey.
What's going on, y'all?
And also here is Righteous Reg.
Oh, yeah. What's up? What's good, everybody? Righteous Reg, Double R, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Saturday morning. Grapsody, we out here.
Definitely the favorite here on Grapsody. And, hey, we're here. It's Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Saw my man Reg getting mixy last night.
Ooh, Mixy Boys was in the building last night, boy. In the building.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going to start. You had a Friday night.
I did. I went over to West Coast Pro Wrestling, my favorite Bay Area pro wrestling. Live Pro Wrestling, they had an amazing show last night. The main event was AJ Gray, my favorite wrestler in the world, versus Jacob Fatu. And every weapon, loudest chair shot to the back I've ever seen from AJ Gray to Jacob Fatu. Oh my God, so loud. These guys beat each other up. Some other very amazing matches back to back. Vinny Massaro versus Daniel Garcia. Insane fire. They beat each other up. Daniel Garcia, you have to see this guy live and up close and up and personal to really, really get who he is. I did a tweet last night, Daniel Garcia versus Timothy Thatcher, if it ever happens, is going to be an amazing match. It's because I thought the same thing. I saw Timothy Thatcher in PWG. The ring, you're really close to the ring, and you just get it. It's different than seeing him on TV. So the match was amazing. My homie ACH was out there. He wrestled Ray Orus, and he had a crazy match. They put together some stuff. And ACH is a veteran out here now. He just is calm. He's collected. He goes about his matches much differently. He is legit one of the best wrestlers in the world, and it's crazy the potential that he still has. And then Kevin Blackwood against Alex Shelley was anything you would think an Alex Shelley match would be. This is what it was. So it was a great night of wrestling, y'all, man. I'm really excited to be part of some great Bay Area happenings. The Bay Area wrestling scene was kind of dead for a while. And so when I first moved here, I was like, I'm not going to wrestling shows because they're awful. And then the homie Scott started doing shows, West Coast Pro Wrestling. Will Hobbs was there for a while, beating people up. But now they've had a bunch of really dope sold out shows back to back to back. And it's a dope family out there, man. So it was dope.
Hey, so you know what's here next week is WWE SmackDown. And so, of course, I was getting tweets that were asking, am I going to SmackDown? And I was like, no, I'm probably not. And they were like, make sure if you go to take your beans.
I know. Philip Lindsey, famous beans guy on the show.
I like that. Let's keep that up. Let's keep that up, y'all.
That's that guy from Oakland down there.
I know of nothing. I've never ate a bean in my life.
But hey, everybody who's joined us today, make sure to give us a thumbs up here on this video. And of course, we're always reading your chats. We're reading your super chats. We're also reading your Humper chats, humperchats.com. That is our Streamlabs solution, and they definitely give us a bigger cut of that. So head on over to humperchats.com, and we got a Humper chat from D-Lo Diggs that just says hook because
hook.
Look, man, this is gonna be a hooker kind of day, isn't it?
We're all hookers for sure.
And of course, we got the super chats. We got the super chat. We got Zeke Jackson says, I know Reg got a Danielson Warriors jersey. Shout out to Graps.
Let's go, baby.
But before we get cooking, it's not just Jade, Red Velvet, and Brandy getting flack too. Yeah, we're going to be talking about
You covered
that.
a lot of what we're going to cover right there, my brother.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's on the topics list. And then we got my dude Mac from Brooklyn said, good to be back to being able to watch the bros live on a Saturday afternoon.
Live, baby.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of folks who were missing over the last couple of weeks are in the chat today, so happy to see that. Because I saw Hannah shouting out her future husband, AJ Gray, as she put it.
Good luck. He's a handful.
So definitely hit us up with your super chats, and and of course there's so much else to check out here on Fightful. YouTube.com/Fightful, as pretty much every day of the week is covered with content.
There's always something.
Yeah, always something. We got Van Twinblade just sent us a super chat. Thank you. He said, told Suede about the shout out y'all did last week at Glory Pro. Hopefully he drops in. Mark it down. Rohit will fight Outlaw for the belt at Glory Pro Anniversary 2.
Outlaw, yeah. Glory Pro has a great roster of wrestlers and a great amount of shows that they've had in the past. So I'm expecting everything that they got going forward to be dope too.
And shout out to Hannah. She said, he proposed to me yesterday because of my credit score.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. That's classic AJ. Yeah, he would do that. He loves a good credit score. A good lariat and a good credit score. Those are his two favorite things.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Grapsody, and we're ready to talk about some Graps. By the way, it is cold as hell in my house. I was telling these two before the show, so if you see me like shivering, I don't know what happened last night, but my heat was like not on, and so I woke up to my house being 63, and I am absolutely freezing right now. I feel like like 63 like outside is fine, but like in my house that is fucking cold, and like I feel like you should be able to see my breath in my house right now because I'm that cold. But anyway, that is why I'm here in cold.
That's why the Mariah Carey beanie's on it.
That's why the Mariah Carey beanie.
If it was cold or not. Right?
I am wearing the Mariah Carey beanie.
Man, I cannot go an hour without hearing that song. I could be like asleep. It's going to come in my dreams. I could be in my house with no sound on and it'll just randomly play out the sky. I'm like, yo, what is going on? This ain't the retail store in my house, bro. What's going on here? Why is Mariah Carey playing? This is crazy.
I will say, though, I think I've put it out there, but my daughter, she's been dancing a long time. And so every year she always like puts together this like elaborate performance for her school talent show every year. It's every January. And first year, in first grade, she did Electric City by Wyclef Jean. And then second year, she did Finesse by Bruno Mars. And third year, she did Panini by Lil Nas X. And fourth year, she did the song Bam from the Disney movie Zombies. Anyway, I said all that to say that she's fifth grade. She's about to finish elementary school. And she wants to do something for me. And I was like really shocked at that. And she was like, I think I'm going to put together a routine to Fantasy by Mariah Carey. And I was like,
wow. He's not going to be able to watch it because he's going to be crying the whole time.
I'm going to be crying. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's see. Oh, we got another one from Zeke. He says, another thing, Hook got future star written all over him after last night. I got emotional hearing Taz being proud of his son. Yo, let's just do it. All right. Because it's actually the first topic. Look.
They ready for it. Yeah.
All right. They sent Hook.
They sent them.
Hey, man. Hook engaged, man.
Look. All right. So here's the thing. Meme wrestlers are not a new thing. Mm-hmm. We've seen them for a long time. But usually, once the matches start to happen, the memes can kind of die.
Right.
And so this was one of those things where I wasn't sure what to expect. I had heard good words. I had heard from everybody who had like actually seen Hook in his reps and whatnot. They had all said, yo, this he's clean. But I was not sure what to expect because like I said, he was kind of a meme wrestler, and it's fine.
He wasn't even a wrestler. He was just a meme dude.
He was just a meme, yeah. And like I said, you know, the memes can turn out great, or because like I feel like the first Tony D'Angelo, that was a meme wrestler, right? But like, who knows how the memes can turn out? But there is nothing like when a meme comes through, and Hook came through last night. Man, he came through. He had he faced Fuego del Sol on Rampage last night, and the kid is smooth. He was out there, and he was just out there with the suplexes, the throws. He was doing Taz like Taz. Damn, what the hell?
You know what? Everybody's like, wow, I'm not really surprised. He's Taz's kid. If you know the history of Taz, he used to like train a lot of the ECW guys, and all those guys are really great. It's the first matches, they were great from that first match because I'm sure Taz was on them. So imagine his kid. Like, he's not gonna let his kid go out there and embarrass him. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm not gonna let my son go out here and embarrass me. And last night it showed from the music hitting with the Action Bronson cut. It was just
the Action Bronson cut. Like,
yo,
what?
when they turned off the lights and then Hook flashes, like they just got it like right. It was just simple, to the point, and just like, yo, they did it. They did it.
I think the thing that got me was the crowd and how like, because another wrestler who's kind of a meme wrestler is Fuego del Sol.
Right.
And like the crowd was kind of split up until there was one throw, and I forget which one it was, that Hook hit. But all of a sudden, that crowd went from like 50-50, like chanting for both of them, to like, Hook, Hook,
right.
Hook. Like,
they forgot
was
Fuego was there. They were just like, yo, this is a Hook match.
Yeah, it was like, you know, we'll be into both for a minute, but as soon as Hook got cooking, it was like, what? The whole crowd was just suddenly into Hook, and
as soon as Hook started hooking, it was lit, boy.
Hey, man.
Hook was hooking, and the hookers were hookering. I don't know. We liked it. It was dope.
Yo, Hook's been I don't know, man. I feel like he was starting to get over, because of course you see online, you know, people thirsting over this kid, which shame on you.
Shame.
But no, I started to like him immediately. I think the first time we saw him was in the Cody promo, right? And he came out and he's like, "Come on, Hook, we're leaving." And it just was something about that kid, like straight away. Like, he didn't say a lot. He already had this mystique to him. He would come out and he would like meme mug guys standing behind Taz. I'm like, this kid's a goon, man. I like this guy, man. So he come out here and like harass like the sales guy outside the truck. Like, you got Sting gear up here, but you don't have Team Taz gear up here. Get this out of here. Like, he's a cool kid, man. So I was like, I hope this guy can wrestle, because like you can see the groundswell of support getting louder and louder every week, especially when Sin Hook became a thing.
Right.
And so I'm like, what is this guy gonna do? And boy, he came out looking like a star. He had the Action Bronson record. The presentation around him looks good. He's got the shoot style wrestling. I like his gear. I like his look. Somebody was like, is he going to comb his hair for the match? I'm like, of course not. He doesn't need to comb his hair. He's Hook.
He's Hook, bro. No. I talked to a very popular, prominent wrestler last night, and he said that is exactly how he would like to be presented, how Hook was presented. He said like that was like perfect. So, I mean, Hook... that was it.
Couldn't have done it
much
any better. Couldn't have done it any better. That picture that's going around of the picture behind commentary, you can see Taz standing up and clapping as he's coming down. Like, how can you not be happy for them, man? Like,
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of second generation wrestlers. We've seen a ton over the years, but how many have we got to see like commentate their sons like first match, like not even like this is their first match on like the main roster or first match, you know, because like a lot of guys have gotten to have those kind of trial runs through the indies and all of that, but like this
is number one.
This was number one as far as like first match in front of a crowd, that people got to see, this was it.
In Long Island. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
no, that was great.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I truly felt like Homer on that one episode of The Simpsons because I had to miss it because I had to take my kids skating last night. Turns out the skating rink is still popping, by the way. But
It's pretty popular here too.
yeah, I had been since I was a teenager, but my kids wanted to go, and there were like just adults over on the other side. Just I'm like, this place is still lit. But anyway, so you know that the episode with the I know Phil would know the where Marge had the pretzel wagon, and then at the end the mobsters and the Yakuza are fighting, and Homer's looking, and he's like, this little guy's gonna do something, and I'm gonna miss it. Yeah, and then Marge makes him come inside, and then all of a sudden he just like takes everybody out. I felt like that because I had to miss it last night, and then of course I jump on Twitter, and everybody's just like, Hook. And I'm like, damn it.
Hook took over the world while you were away.
I know, while I was away. As a matter of fact, Hook got the super chats like way lit. There's many right now.
Hook is the man.
Let's talk to we got Brent Lockman. First, he said 11 days into the go. How long can you go, or how long you can go without hearing Last Christmas by Wham! And December challenge. Hope all your weeks were awesome. And they're pretty good. Next week's going to be much better, but actually, no, I got a car accident this week. This week was a problem. But
I had a great week. Sorry.
Yeah.
Red's like, sorry to hear that, but I had a fantastic week.
There's some stuff cooking. I'm just saying that.
I mean, there's some good stuff. I will say it was a mix. It was a mix,
Yeah, it was a
right?
mix.
Yeah, it was a mix. There's some good
But
stuff.
yeah, are you okay? Let me go back to the car accident. Jeez, Louise.
It was more so like because it was my fault. I hit.
Hey, don't say that on this camera. Rewind. Let's cut that.
No.
part,
I mean, it's one of those things
court.
where like, look, I made a left turn. Like, there's no way I could absolutely like do. And there's no way I am not at fault for this one. Like, I was making a left turn. Like, what am I gonna say? Like, hey, this dude driving straight on traffic. He did it.
It was him, man. You got to take it to the grave. It was him. I ain't do nothing. I was just.
And then also, yeah. So either way, but we got more. We got Ferthausen. He says, spent the last 12 days working 137 hours, and my reward was Hook's debut. Worth it.
Wow.
137 hours.
That's a lot of.
There's only 168 hours in 1 week, so like in 12 days, you
was going for it. Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay, bro. All right. You know, leave some work for the rest of us, man. So,
And for yourself.
Yeah. Tremaine says, man, they need a young Lions division so Hook can be the ace. I had that same thought. I was thinking of like, what division at this point could they do for guys like, because guys like Hook, but also there's a lot of guys. If you suddenly made like a young Lions division, there's a lot of guys you could suddenly push. That wouldn't quite be ready for like a TNT type run. Definitely not ready for the world title, but at the same time, just a division where you can showcase who the best of that crop of talent is. I think that would be excellent.
They can now turn this dynamite or the diamond ring. If Dante wins it, the ring could be that, because I don't know what MJF was just carrying it for nothing. He didn't. There wasn't any stakes behind
he used
it.
it to cheat. What do you mean?
Yeah, if they kind of use it as a prop for Dante to kind of do that, I think it could work. Yeah,
and I would like to see because Dante's another one. Like, there's a lot of guys at this point you could do that kind of division for, and you would suddenly have like a really dope division, and like the breakout talent of that division could be something huge. Let's see, Brent with another one. He said, those moments of absolute disbelief from the crowd at how good Hook was, that was incredible. Dude is a star in the making. We had Tyrone, the positive, said, picked up an Uber CX, who was an AEW AEW fan. We turned on fire when Hook got in the ring. We both said, holy shit, Hook is IRL Jake from Street Fighter V.
No, you know who Hook is, real life character. He's Drago's son from Creed 2. That's exactly what he is. He's the guy that, when you really think about Taz coming and being in that great Rumble match against Kurt Angle, and then that was like the peak of his success with WWE, and now it's like I'll get you guys.
Yes.
Coming back for everything.
Yeah.
He came back with his son, and his son is now one of the hottest wrestlers in the world.
Oh my God.
I know. One day,
That's
and he's like
amazing.
trending. He's trending huge. I woke up this morning. There were two things trending. It was Selma Hayek versus J Lo and Hook, and it's Selma Hayek, by the way. But
it
anyway,
depends on the years. I feel like if this is '98, I might pick J Lo.
No, I'm picking Selma.
No, y'all picking Selma every year.
Selma,
There's
I'm
not
picking
one
Selma
year
every day, man.
When she was Selena, though.
I've been picking Selma every year since Dawn of the Dead, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Selma
is pretty fire, though. I mean,
or Dust Till Dawn. Dust Till Dawn.
Sorry.
Yeah, she. Yeah. I see.
Every year. It's over.
Yeah, but we had T. Daniel Barber said Hook's the new sawed-off shotgun. Hook versus Moriarty will be a main event in 5 years. Like, that's the
Hook is 22, man.
22, man.
Yeah.
Brent says, got a Team Taz color Grapsody shirt on the way. Feels even more perfect after last night.
Let's
Cheers,
go.
guys.
Appreciate that.
We got Bron Squibb says, shout out to Fuego too. He helped make Hook shine without looking like he had to slow down or adjust for the new kid. They both rocked. They did. And
Fuego's really great at getting his ass beat, for sure. That's for sure.
And Life of Deem says they need to license West Side for someone's entrance.
Like, hurry up, man. What are y'all doing?
Hey, man, I just think it's cool how much hip hop is a part of wrestling at the moment, with the Action Bronson theme, and
they did that Pitchfork article on it.
Yeah, and Bronson's been hanging around for a while. I don't know how many people know that he's like a big wrestling fan. He's been backstage at WWE shows. So it's kind of crazy that he's just now getting a licensed theme song, but it's cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's Hook.
I thought Bronson would be in one of them celebrity WrestleMania matches by this time, because
for sure
he's a big wrestling fan, man. Like, I'm like, how are you guys not
huge
utilizing
wrestling
this?
fan?
So
yeah, it was good stuff. Friday night, it was a good Friday night for everybody. I mean, do we have any, I guess, SmackDown adjacent topics that we can kind of throw stuff in? I guess the next topic can kind of
I'm like,
fit.
how was that tag match? I didn't hear anything about it.
So we'll get to that shortly, because I think Black people everywhere kind of let out a collective gasp this past week because a favorite among Black wrestling fans was released. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was released.
He's one of our own. I hate inviting people to the cookout, but like, yo, Jeff Hardy got to pull up. Come on, man. Jeff Hardy got to be there.
You saw him during the Teddy Long wedding.
I'm saying. When Jagged Edge was rocking, he was rocking. He liked it.
By the way, we did get another Humper chat from Alicia. She says, imagine a feud between Starks and Hook, with Taz wanting Hook to be the FTW champion, pushing Starks out.
Look at that. I like it.
Come on, man. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Well, because Ricky Starks has to leave that group eventually, because he doesn't need Taz as his mouthpiece, because he has a mouthpiece. He's the one.
Yeah, he is a great mouthpiece. You know what's funny though is I've gone back and rewatched that first promo Ricky Starks got the cut on Dynamite, and I feel like that was the moment that Tony probably saw, because it was Ricky Starks standing next to Brian Cage, and Brian Cage said a couple of lines, and then Ricky Starks basically just comes in there and lights it up, and like Ricky Starks even gets thrown off by Team Taz's music hitting, and he looks off and then picks himself right back up as if it didn't even faze him that just happened. Man. And I went back and watched that. I'm like, that was the moment. Tony saw it. That was right there. He was like, nah, Brian Cage ain't the guy.
Right.
Look, when you look at Team Taz right now, you forget Brian Cage was even there.
Right. Seriously.
Like, everybody that's there in that group is so cool, and then they just had Brian Cage there, and it's like, they didn't need him. They just didn't need him.
They did.
Yeah, they didn't need him. You saw it. You saw the moment that you realized. And part of it is because, you have Hook, who doesn't need to talk. Hook is just, just straight silent and looks like somebody, like you say, he's a goon, right? And then you have Powerhouse Hobbs, who again just comes off so cool, right? And by the way, he is looking cut these days. Like,
Yeah,
he's been
a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a. Speaking of, man, watching that battle royal. If you want to give us Wardlow versus Hobbs anytime soon, give us that match.
But also Leo Rush versus Hobbs, I want to see as well. Leo Rush was the one that eliminated him. So
I think they're setting that up. It looks like.
Yeah, and so that was the other one I wanted to see was Leo Rush and Hobbs. So
did you guys see Leo's tweet after?
Yeah.
Hook's debut. Hey,
Hey, that's good. That's the way to that's the best way to keep up kayfabe while simultaneously put somebody over. I like it. But anyway, Jeff Hardy was released this week. Of course, there were reports last week of him being sent home from the tour. Sean Ross Sapp noted that he had heard that Jeff was offered rehab and refused, or declined, I should say. And so Jeff Hardy was released. I tweeted because I feel like I saw a bunch of people talking about, man, how many times is Jeff Hardy going to be released? Like, this is only his second release. Jeff Hardy, he has been out of the company before, but his 2009 departure was his contract expiring, and he actually declined a new offer from WWE in 2009. I think he had cited at the time, he was saying that he just had nagging neck injuries and he was just burnt out in 2009. And yes, he did get into legal trouble like a month after he was released. And so I think people conflate the two of like, if you weren't watching in 2009, you're like, oh, Jeff Hardy had legal trouble in 2009 and he was out of the company, so the legal trouble must have been why he was released.
Right.
No, those happened separately, in company first. But yeah, so this is his second release from WWE. And it's kind of crazy that, you know, I think everybody who was looking at the landscape of SmackDown for the last little bit had been kind of saying the same thing of like, you know, the only two baby faces who seem primed and ready to face Roman Reigns are Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy. But it doesn't really seem like there's anybody else like even on the horizon. And so it is kind of a like huge shock that all of a sudden SmackDown looks like empty. And you've kind of felt it last night watching, right? That like Brock Lesnar's there, but you don't have Brock Lesnar there. I don't know who the top babyface on this show is.
It feels like that every week Roman is not there because they spend so much time focusing on Roman. So every SmackDown episode without Roman, it almost feels like Poochie. Like, where's Roman? Like, he needs to always be on screen.
Right.
Man, I could drop Simpsons references on this episode all day if we need to. But yeah, I felt the same way of just like, but like Jeff definitely feels like there is like a sudden like void there. Now, of course, there's a lot of talk over what's next. You know, Jeff's wife Beth posted Jeff's fine because you know there's the conversation everybody wants to turn to. There's two usually. It is one side of it is Hardy Boys, here we go, and the other side of it is you know, let's not talk about Jeff's future. Let's talk about getting Jeff some help.
Right.
I think that as a man of nuance, I feel like both of those things can happen. I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. I think that it is okay as a fan to want to talk about if you are a fan of Jeff Hardy, like, you know, because part of that I think is a little bit of the healing process of like, if you want to see somebody get better, a big part of it is like, what do you want to see him do next? Because I know that when I've had people in my life who were on a really bad path and we're going through a recovery. And the one thing that helped get them through that recovery is talking about, all right, as soon as you're done, we're going to hit it hard. This is the thing you're going to do next. And like, you know, just, and them feeling like, okay, I got to get through this because I know what I want to see next in my life. And so I don't think it is necessarily a terribly bad thing to want to talk about what you want to see next for Jeff Hardy.
Especially when it's like, we're talking about the Hardy Boys, like what's better than him going to be with his brother and spending a lot of time with his brother? Like that sounds like a great idea to me. You know what I mean?
I think the timing of it is very weird because that, that interview where Jeff was saying he wants to reunite with Matt before he ends his career was less than a month ago.
It was very recent.
And so then all this stuff is recent, just happened. Like he wants to main event, and then they swerved us. It looked like he was going to main event, and then he got eliminated by Sammy. And then whatever happened at that house show that I'm still kind of unclear on happened, and then this release just came out of nowhere. So the timing of it is just very bizarre.
It is.
And I concur with. I hope he's okay. I hope he hasn't done anything to slip off the wagon or anything. But at the same time, like this is Jeff and possibly reuniting with Matt Hardy.
Right.
When Matt tweeted last night that the future's looking extremely well, I saw that. I was like, no, I want these guys to be together. They belong together.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
it's like you don't want to go that far, but like the Hardy Boys in AEW, like, come on, you guys.
Listen,
that's
man.
fine. Come on. Everybody wants that.
And I've seen some people saying, like, there's no rush to sign everybody. Listen, if you are Tony Khan and you can get possibly one of the most over and popular wrestlers ever
in the history
and reform one of the most well-known tag teams and add them to that tag division,
come on.
Like, big capital letters and quotation marks on that tag team division.
Right.
You're going to do it. I'm sorry.
Right.
You are.
Right.
And I would be surprised if we see him there very soon. But, same thing, well wishes to Jeff. I hope he's okay.
And I do too. And, I saw Sean Waltman's tweet about, he was talking about inpatient rehab and how he's like, he was like, it's not as simple as, go to rehab and be okay or not. Because he was like, my best recovery was not in inpatient rehab.
Yep.
And he's like, to be honest, I believe it's a racket. And he said that he was like, my best recovery wasn't. And so he's like, I don't think it's as simple as, go to rehab or not. So he's like, if Jeff did relapse, it's, there are other ways to recover besides going straight to an inpatient rehab. So like,
right.
Like I said, there's nuance to
this
this
so
situation.
Touchy. Nobody really knows any of the situation, and like it could be a one bad day. Like you don't know anything about this. You don't know anything that's going on. So it's hard to really like touch on it. We just want like Jeff Hardy to be great and fine and happy and live his life and reunite the Hardy Boys in AEW at the end of the day.
and then the other part about that people are like, oh, you've got to focus on his well-being. Like, on some levels, we don't know what's going on with him, so it's not our place to be like, all right, well, I got to dig into, I hope he's okay. I, at the end of the day, am a wrestling fan.
Right.
And if you ask me, I tweeted like maybe a week ago, I need to see that team versus that team before they retire. And so, again, I don't want to jump the gun here, but free agency is looking crazy. Like, I mean, just Jeff Hardy being out there, the guys that got released this week, possibly Kairi Hojo out there, Jungle Kiona's out there. Like, this is probably like the craziest free agency we've ever seen coming next year.
Oh, I want to talk about Kairi for a sec because I forgot to have that topic in here. But so Kairi Hojo, Kairi Sane, she changed her Twitter and Instagram, and immediately everybody was like, "Whoo, what is going on here?" And the thing people noticed was that it's that former WWE superstar, and that got all the eyebrows raised. And then it came out in The Observer this week that she is indeed no longer a part of WWE, that they had talked to her about a comeback, and she had told WWE that she wasn't interested in moving to the U.S., so the speculation right now is that she may return to Stardom. Who knows? Let me tell you this, though. As far as that telling WWE that she doesn't want to return to the U.S., I once told a girl I was not interested in a relationship. And then
Wait a minute.
Hold up. I'm just saying, look, I was told a girl I wasn't interested in a relationship.
I got you.
And
I'm following.
I ended up marrying the very next woman I dated.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I'm just saying that sometimes
All right.
The way he connected those dots, man. Wait a minute,
Right.
man.
No, for real. It's like, look, I don't like hamburgers when McDonald's makes them, but when Whataburger makes them, they taste good. I'll eat them.
Look,
I don't know if I'm interested in a relationship. And then a week later, he put a ring on somebody else. Like, that's crazy.
Look, that's just how it goes.
So, because everybody's citing that, hey, Kyrie's whole WWE, she don't want to wrestle in the U.S.
For y'all.
I might tell him that, too.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that they dropped the ball with Kyrie on the main roster quite a bit. I definitely think they dropped the ball with her exit. Like, I felt like they had the chance to do something really cool with her for her final match. They teased that Asuka match and then never
Asuka's
gave
hurt
it to
still. Where the hell's Asuka at?
It's like,
She's with Elias and Samoa Joe.
Well, I mean, no, she's taking a break, man. Let our Empress take a break and play video games or whatever else she wants to do, and make YouTube videos.
Have we not seen Asuka in front of a live audience yet?
Yes, WrestleMania.
I mean, since WrestleMania, because what I specifically mean is
like on the road.
Yeah, since they've been back on the road.
Money in the Bank.
Shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so she's been in front of live crowds, but no, let our Empress rest, man. She's earned a rest. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to her coming back to the U.S., of course, but I've been saying ever since she left television, I want her to go back to Stardom. There's so many matches I want her to have there. Now, if you twist my leg, I wouldn't mind her coming back here and having matches in another company as well, but my hope is Stardom.
We got a whole lot of super chats. They go back a minute, so we'll read a few of them. We got Tremaine says, "Wonder if Hook adds Beat Me If You Can Survive If I Let You to his arsenal."
It's probably coming. Yeah, I agree.
We got Pedro says, "Who else from the hip hop world would benefit from having one of their songs used as an entrance theme? Also, who would you give a licensed theme to?"
First question is Righteous Reg, and then second question is.
I mean, and hell, then I'll do the same thing. Second question is Swerve, and he needs "Ain't Nobody" by Shaka Khan.
There you go. That's how we answer questions.
I would say it's West Side Gun for sure.
Yeah,
he's the next guy that needs to, do something.
I mean, he has a song called Eddie Kingston, so there's a couple of different options.
Come on, man. He's got to do a song for somebody at some point, and the next person that needs licensed music. I think it's crazy that Kofi does not have his own music. He's the only one that doesn't have licensed music right now. Give this man his own theme song.
Or just give him back his old theme song, and we just all get lit.
If you want to bring back the Kylie Buds, come
on. I'm saying.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Give him some licensed music, bro.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I love licensed music. I think that's the best thing. I think that, especially when you're using stuff that is highly recognizable. I actually commended WWE a lot for their use of Bad Bunny this past year.
Yeah.
Because like Bad Bunny was a dude that, in the Mia video with Drake, he was wearing the Latino Heat shirt. Like, he was already showing off his affinity for pro wrestling.
Oh, and they just announced the Migos, right? WWE did? Yeah, WWE announced the Migos for day one.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw a graphic of that.
Oh, I didn't see that. So
yeah, I mean, that's
and that's the thing. It's because I do love quite a bit when pro wrestlers, not pro wrestlers, when hip hop, specifically people in hip hop who have always kind of embraced pro wrestling, when pro wrestling embraces them, because like WWE and pro wrestling as a whole has like chased like stars for a long time, but there have always been those stars. Like, remember how much Method Man was like into pro wrestling, and I feel like there was so much use you could have gotten out of Method Man in the early 2000s, because that was a guy who like
Red and Meth, they did a music video that was wrestling.
And like, but like Method Man used to just like talk up how much he loved pro wrestling, like all the time. He was always on about how much he watches and how much he watched at the time. Man. And like, I feel like that was something that could have been embraced far more than just like one track with The Rock and a photo shoot with John Cena. Like,
exactly. But as I've said on this show, these companies show all the time they don't love black people, so they don't reach out to black.
They're like, yo, let's get Nickelback. They'll kill it.
We got a Humper chat from Magic Rat. says, I know you guys are hip hop heads and obviously big pro wrestling fans. So what about when you combine the two to make battle rap? I think I've seen Reg post some stuff, but are Will and Phil also fans? If so, favorite battlers, battles, bars, moments, etc.
I used to watch a lot of URL. I don't as much. Man, I gotta go. Like Calico's up there for me. You know, Daylight's up there. Yeah, I mean, there's so many I could name, but I'm gonna go with Daylight for sure.
Yeah, I like Daylight too. I like Tay Rock. Arsenal might be one of my favorite just because he's so rude and he just don't care. Surf, yeah, sure. Surf is fire. Surf is super fire. There's a lot of dope battlers out now. There's like so many. Chess, he's a young dude. He's super duper fire. Yeah, the battle scene is crazy. They just had a battle show here a couple weeks ago. And they have battles legit every weekend now. I remember going to rap battles in like 2002, and there used to be music, and it'd be one rapper goes for one round, and the other guy go 1 minute, and the other guy goes for 1 minute to music, and then that's it. Now it's like battles are 1 full hour of guys just rapping against each other, and it's super dope. Evolve. I always say that battle rappers are like the most intelligent and complex rappers they are because their bars are like different, man. They have to think of ways to put together a bar like that I wouldn't even imagine. So always commend the battle rappers. Those guys are insane.
Yeah, I think Super Hot Fire is probably my favorite.
Let's get out of here. Let's move on, because if Will says what he is gonna say, I'm out of here.
Super Hot Fire, man. Come on, man. No, but as far as greatest battle rap moments, probably Loaded Lux in that battle where he just annihilated my man, gave him, you gonna get this work, came out with the casket and the suit. Like, that is just a classic moment.
That was the one.
Ultimate memeable battle rap moment.
Yeah, definitely.
We got Tyrone says, every black person got an uncle or cousin like Jeff. I did. Mine didn't get a chance to beat his demons. Hope Jeff gets a chance to beat his addiction. Sucks. And yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is I've had people really close to me in those situations, and that's why I said it's something you got to approach with nuance. It is not just a simple don't do this kind of thing. Yeah, it's not that
as
simple.
Easy as that.
It's very much not that simple. Let's see, got a humper chat from Matt. Matt Reichel says, good afternoon, guys. I'm headed to ROH tonight and excited for everything. What are you guys' thoughts on the show? It's actually the next topic.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
we are about to get there. We got Justin says, first time getting to Super Chat, my favorite YouTube crew. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Justin.
Say, y'all boys the realest. Hook is awesome, and I'll be wrestling my spiritual little brother next weekend in Marshall, Texas. So excited.
Let's go, Justin. That's dope.
Hey,
yeah.
Good luck.
Texas. Oh my God, the scene's crazy. Y'all are crazy out there in Texas. I'm saying.
Eloquent said, dope show set, Reg, on that live stream.
Oh, thank you so much, Eloquent. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, everybody who's been retweeting my stuff. Y'all are super dope, man. I had so much fun. Yeah, we going all the way up, man. We lit.
We sat around and watched it. I don't know. I guess this week has felt so long. That was only last week.
Right.
So I'm like, I've talked to you since then, but I was like, but have we done a show since then? I guess we have.
It was last Saturday.
Yeah, it was last Saturday. So yeah, we sat around and watched it in my living room, and it was dope. So
thank you. I appreciate y'all.
And then we have Ferthausen says, my favorite picks with wrestlers and musicians over the year is my son and I with Jeff at a TNA house show.
Dude, Jeff Hardy is just the coolest. No one ever says anything bad about him. Even when in situations like this, everyone's always just so positive about everything, man. Jeff Hardy is the man. We love him. Everybody in the world loves Jeff Hardy. If you don't love Jeff Hardy, like, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with you?
I got another super chat from Zeke. Says, Will, Ayo, that way transition into that segment was crazy. Kenny is on record saying he would want to sign Kyrie, just saying. Of course. Yeah, that was absolutely what Kenny said when he was talking about who he wanted to see in the women's division.
But yeah, I get it. Being in America's a lot for some, taking your whole life and coming over here. It's just easier.
Just got married, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
A lot.
But, again, if you're gonna twist my arm and get like Kyrie versus Shida or Kyrie versus Riho,
Come on.
or Kyrie versus Statlander,
Come on.
I'm not gonna turn that down.
No, I want it.
Hey, speaking of which, we're getting Shida Deep 3 this week.
Ooh.
Hey man,
you know what's funny is I love the Winter is Coming graphics because like to me like just the ice and all of that looks like a graphic you would use for something that is like coming to a head finally, right? Like when we first saw Kenny and Moxley in the ice, I was like, yeah, like this, it looks cold. It looks like something that you want to see. And so I was like, yeah, I know, right? So I was like, I wanted to see I was thinking for weeks, I'm like, I don't know when they're gonna do Shida versus Deep 3, but I want it to be Winter is Coming just because for the hatred between those two right now and the fact that it has boiled so high, I'm like, I want to see it in that Winter is Coming graphic. And I've been saying that for weeks. And then when they announced it, I'm like, thank you. That was exactly what I wanted.
This feud is too cold. It has to be in that graphic.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I got you.
And so I'm happy to see it. So
yeah, that's gonna be a dope match. They're gonna tear it up. Oh my god, they're gonna tear it up.
Bazo Banks says, I still can't believe we never got Boston Hug versus Sky Pirates at that San Jose TakeOver 2019.
I know, I was
Such
there.
a missed opportunity.
Damn, come on.
Yeah.
And John, along the same lines, says Kyrie versus Shida, Kyrie versus Deep, Kyrie versus Hayter, just to name a few. A lot of names in AEW I want to see her wrestle.
All fire.
Jamie Hayter is. She is.
That match?
If you did not know, Jamie Hayter is really
Riho
good.
is. Look, man, y'all better put some respect on Riho's name. Like, I'm tired of it now.
I'm saying.
When, people talk about she's too small, blah, 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 I hear that. Like, it's finally, so I did RBR this past week with my old crew. Back, we're talking like 2010 old, and it was all on short notice, and it was a lot of fun. But me, Matt Galloway, Felipe Diaz-Vera, we did RBR this week. And B-Rob was there, of course. B-Rob, the current host of RBR. I don't want to ever discount B-Rob. But one thing that
R.I.P. Black Rob too. Just if we're shouting out B-Robs, like yes. Whoa,
what a year this was for losses in hip hop.
Was that this year?
Yeah, I think so.
This year.
Yeah, because I think it was like in a really short span. It was like Black Rob, DMX,
Jeez.
And Shock G. Like it was just like,
oh my god, it's been an awful year for hip hop legends, man. It's crazy.
But yeah, so we were talking about. So Matt doesn't like watch a whole lot of AEW, so he only like gets to watch it like when he's asked to host a podcast, because otherwise he's kind of mostly like falling out of wrestling, right? And he said that the thing he got about Riho, he was like, what I see in her is like Spike Dudley, and I was like, that's it. Mm-hmm. You see it. Yeah. You see what like
that's
nobody was talking. Nobody in 2001 was talking about, oh, I don't want to see Spike Dudley wrestle. He's too small. No, it was like, I want to see Spike Dudley wrestle because he's so small. Right. And I want to see him against these bigger dudes. And I want to see, what they do to him and how he can get a victory against them. Like, that was it. Like, okay, you get it. And I feel like with Riho, she's a smaller wrestler. She's absolutely a smaller wrestler. She also feels very unique because of that. She feels very one of a kind. And also, she sells like crazy. Like, you cringe. Like, I feel like I'm constantly just like pearl clutching when
I absolutely can't stand when people say, oh, it's not believable. We're talking about fucking pro wrestling, bro. They fake punch each other. They fake throw each other to the fucking ropes. Why are we picking and choosing when we get to say, oh, that's not believable? She's too small. She's too this. It's all fucking dumb, dude. It's two people slamming each other in a wrestling ring.
And doing it regularly, by the way, because in boxing and MMA, you don't get to fight every week.
No.
You
don't.
Yeah, I'm going to say it because I'm tired of the real hate. I just feel like I feel some kind of way about every time she's brought up, somebody brings up her weight. And I feel like that's a thing that is mostly done to the women. I don't see that done with a lot of the men.
And that's why I brought up Spike, right? Because
I just
except for Marco Stunt. Sorry, Marco.
Yeah,
people
just
be on that shit.
I just don't like it. She's a great wrestler. Like Will says, she sells really well. I feel like, the psychology she uses in her matches makes a lot of sense. I thought the best thing they did in that match was not only like the crucifix bomb, but when she went for the Snapdragon and couldn't overpower her, so she threw her into the turnbuckle and then came behind her and snagged her and did it Like all of that stuff
Like made perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Like
Everything she does makes sense. It's not like she's going out there. She's smaller than people, and she's doing like gorilla presses or anything.
Right.
She is just using like her ingenuity and using the fact that she is just a great wrestler. She's out wrestling people. That's how she won the championship. Is she out wrestled Nyla Rose?
Right.
And so I feel like if that says anything, if you can't get on board with somebody that just is a good wrestler, that says something about you. I'm sorry, it does.
I know it says way more about you than it says about Riho if you can't get on board. Like when people, because that's the hang up people have. I always see like Riho. I can't believe her matches, so I just can't get into them. And it's like, that's a you problem, because I am enjoying the hell out of Riho matches. I thought that match with Jamie Hayter was Jamie Hayter's best showing so far. And
that brainbuster,
oh my god, that brainbuster, and that arch that Riho gives to like really sell how bad something is, like, because she was doing it in the stomps, right? Like that everybody was but like if you just notice what Riho's doing, it's not that bad.
I mean,
it's just selling.
She's selling, right? But she was making those stomps from Britt Baker look crazy. But that's what Riho's good at.
That's what it is.
And she's had 2 phenomenal matches this year. That match, the Serena Deeb match earlier this year. Riho's good, man. She's sorry. Really good. She's good.
Yeah. And honestly, one that was that kind of goes forgotten from the one they did on Bleacher Report, the match with Thunder Rosa.
Really good.
Also good.
Oh man, the Maki Itoh match that was on the first episode of Elevation.
Yeah,
it's also really good.
There you go.
Riho's great. I love Riho. I have nothing negative to say about Riho. Because I fall more along the lines with Reg when people say, well, she's not a good talker. She doesn't talk at all. You don't have to talk. You don't have to talk in pro wrestling.
What do you want, man? Come on, guys.
Hook never talks, bro.
Never.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
One word.
Yo, you got to get over these contradictions, bro. Like, y'all love Hook right now, but then at the same time, you're like, oh, this black women's wrestler can't talk. Or it's like, yo, it's telling every time you talk about who can't talk and who can't talk. Again, Hook don't talk. Orange Cassidy doesn't talk.
Doesn't say nothing.
No, don't say nothing. We got another one from Tremaine. He said, talking about hip-hop in wrestling, Mark Henry's theme is goated for me.
3-6 Mafia.
3-6 Mafia.
Yeah, come on.
That versus
guy
got nuts, man.
He said, y'all ugly ass.
You a hater.
Have you been seeing 3-6 Mafia, by the way? Whoever's running their Facebook has absolutely zero chill whatsoever. In that they're like commenting from the 3-6 Mafia account, like check mark next to it on like all things Bone Thugs and Harmony. And they're like, hey, we won.
Hey, they from Memphis, man. They don't care. They bring it.
Like, because I think I like follow Lazy Bone or something like that. And I scrolled, I just see a picture of Lazy Bone, and the first comment is 3-6 Mafia saying, "We the champs, man." And I was like, "What?
Hey, that's big. They've been beefing for like 25 years.
I know.
Man. That's a long time.
Speaking about Maine, we got our man Terrence Howard in the building to do his Hustle and Flow record. And I was like,
they won an Oscar for this. They had to get the main to come out.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that was.
Come on, man.
It's pretty amazing looking back in hindsight, because like Raw
Swiss Beats was pissed at Busy Bone. Oh man, he was so mad. I'm like, this is how Busy Bone supposed to be, though.
Busy Bone walked in like ready for beef. You saw him on that was on Twitter where he was talking about, man. He's like, "What up, 666 Mafia? We coming after you, devil worshiping ass niggas." Like, and I was like, "Oh my god."
He wanted smoke immediately. He was crazy.
That clip in itself is just. I've watched that clip several times. It is hilarious.
Somebody said that's Shia LaBeouf. I was like, "Yo, y'all are wilding, bro."
The only knock I have with Busy Bone is you cannot go in and start stuff like that, and then once the other crew comes and runs at you, you're behind everybody. Y'all get him. Man. Like, what are you doing?
You come and get the smoke. Let's fight if you want to fight. Don't be.
And look, I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. As a matter of fact, if you watched my Mariah Carey countdown with Denise, my number 2 song was Breakdown, because I love that combination. But that versus like really exposed that they didn't really have nothing after East 1999 Eternal.
Yeah, it was a bad matchup. It just was a bad matchup.
Yeah, because like people forget like 3-6 Mafia had hits for a long time. Like it wasn't just like
yeah.
tear the club up and then everybody forgot. No, they kept coming.
They kept going. They kept going, and then they stopped, and then they started again, and they were all hits again. So like, no, they did it a lot.
Yeah, and so let's see.
But classic moments in that, man. That's hip hop right there, bro.
Man.
Oh, we got one. So Jam on it says, for me, it's E40's Mayhem for Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Wouldn't be mad at
Let's
that.
see.
That would be to hear E40 on Dynamite would be crazy.
DX theme, Run DMC version goated too. You know what though? Like I love that theme, but it's always funny to me because do you remember it was like maybe a 2-year period where before Jam Master Jay died, where Run was just doing tracks and calling it Run DMC, but it was literally just him. Yeah. And like that song is just Run, and that's it. But like it's officially called Run DMC because same with Let's Get Married. Let's Get Married was only Run, but it says it's Jagged Edge featuring Run DMC because he was just running with the name for a little while, really until Jam Master Jay died and then he retired the name. But that's always just been funny to me. But yeah, that DX theme, definitely not timely because it wasn't like they got Prime Run DMC. It was like, hey, we got Run DMC like 12 years after.
It's been long over for Run DMC at this point. But you know, I like the theme.
Yeah, I like the theme as well. I think that was.
Of course, the greatest theme on there is Ice-T, the Godfather. Grab your bitches.
Man, I used to listen to WWF Progression so much because, like, I was always into West Coast hip hop. So, like, I liked the Big Show Mac 10 theme. That was because I was like a really big Mac 10 guy for a long time. And I still think Banger Ball is like really underrated. Like Mac 10 with Manny Fresh production. It's a great album.
Mac 10,
I know,
what's up?
I know Mac 10 on Cash Money like made no sense, but I feel like the combination of the two was good. Anyway, what else we got? We got RoboCop says, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Haku leaving his job doing English translation for DDT at TJPW. He did such a great job for English speaking fans. Let's see. Another one from Bazo Banks says, everybody's allowed to dislike someone. No. No one's allowed to dislike Jeff Hardy.
Straight up. You can't.
No one.
You can't. You're weird if you do.
Jeff's that guy. Let's see. We got another Humper chat. This one from Alicia says, do you think Sheeta Deep 3 needs a stipulation or a gimmick match? I don't think it needs a gimmick. I would like a stipulation or something. And I guess the only gimmick I would want to see in that type of match, because I am like I love straight up wrestling matches. Because I notice when people like put together fantasy cards and stuff, they're like, yeah, let's see this in a TLC flaming table match. I don't need none of that. Just give me two great wrestling.
This one doesn't need that. You know
like
what I mean?
I suppose if I wanted to see one, the only stipulations I like truly love are stipulations that give me more wrestling. So like if you wanted to do an Iron Man match or 2 out of 3 falls, sure, because I'm getting more pro wrestling out of that.
I just want them to get time, man. I just want them to get a decent amount of time. I wouldn't be mad if they open the shows that way that they get like no commercial breaks.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't really need a stipulation.
Nah. And then
where's the show?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Dallas. But it's at the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, which is, I think, typically they've already like sold their highest gate there, and it's the 3rd time they've run it. But I think that holds like 6,000 fans. I'll give that building a lot of credit because when I first saw it, I was like, Curtis Colwell Center, like, is that like a convention center? Like, you got arenas in Dallas. What are you doing? But the sound in that building sounds better than anything else you can run in Dallas. Just because of the fact that it is a smaller, compact venue, but holds, they can have 6,000 fans there, and it looks like they're going to have something close to that this week. So, honestly, for Winter is Coming, I think having a loud-ass crowd in that building is going to be good.
Yeah, for when Bryan Danielson's crowning achievement is so great. It's going to sound great in that Dallas arena when Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Champion at the end of the night.
Do you guys think anybody's debuting at that show?
Yes, I think Kyle O'Reilly's absolutely debuting.
Kyle's going to be there.
Yeah,
Kyle's going to be there.
And I think that is a topic.
It's cold in these streets. You got to bring in Cool Kyle.
We got a topic coming up here.
I'm thinking maybe the ROH, the brand new ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham could make a little appearance too.
Yeah.
Wait, is that tonight?
Yeah, it's the next
No,
topic.
that's next week. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, that lines up.
So we got Wrestle Voice says Riho is so good in the ring and always has been. She has a unique moveset and her psychology is just dope. Hater to me is female Pac. That's a comparison I haven't really seen and hadn't really thought about. But I like that. And says she is so explosive and can go with anyone in the ring. And, I feel like she's starting to have those performances that we've wanted to see from her for a long time. So, and I say long time, she's been in AEW since August. And then, let's see, got another one from Wrestle Voice says, you know what, give me Annie up for someone like Keith Lee and watch me run through a wall.
Annie up might be kind of fire.
MOP is definitely one of those groups that, I feel like any wrestler could run with an MOP license.
Yes.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Blake says, love the show and glad for the distraction today. Kentucky got pretty effed by tornadoes last night. I saw that. Asking people that can donate towards relief. Absolutely. I saw that. That is crazy.
Amazon, those people are stuck in a building or something. It's
my wife woke me up with it. She was just like, you see what happened in Kentucky? And it was like, no, I hadn't. And she was showing me that. It's crazy.
Not only do we have to deal with wild ass shit, we got to deal with natural disasters too. That just nothing we can do about it. It's fucking crazy out here, man.
Back on the Spike comparison, Tremaine says Bubba needs to tell Riho to get the tables. Hashtag Riho Dudley. The Eloquent says, when Rey Mysterio fights someone 3 times his size, you never hear that it's not believable. But it's a problem with Riho for some reason. Shaking my head, bad faith argument.
Come on.
Agreed.
Hey. We love Rey Mysterio Jr. when he's wrestling the Big Show on Big Shows, has him on the gurney and slams him against the pole. Or when Great Khali smashes Black out of his brain.
I mean, come on, man. There are tons of small wrestlers that we love, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why people. Well, I have a theory as to why.
We know why. Ken says, he says, quote, Riho isn't believable, unquote. Says Twitter user Undertaker _ forever XX with a Fiend profile picture.
You like the Undertaker?
No, but see, Undertaker is different because he's a legend and he wears MAGA hats. Blah blah.
No,
he only has 2 shirts, 2 Blue Lives Matter shirts.
It says any Riho hater, go watch Ray's Rise in WCW. This is from Ferdhausen, the Giant Slayer. You know what's funny? All right, I hate to rag on Vince. I don't, but I hate to do it too much.
I don't.
But I saw Ray getting that series on Cartoon Network, and I was like, God, man,
that's dope.
Cool.
You know what drives me nuts is how WWE has had multiple luchadors come through in the last 20 years. Because they had Ultimo Dragon in 2003. They had Sin Cara twice. I mean, they had 2 Sin Caras. They had Kalisto. They had the Lucha House Party. They had a lot of luchas come through. And it's crazy how they were never able to make any one of them. We lost Reg. No. We were never able to make any single one of them a success, a star. There he goes.
So I'm still here. I don't know.
But and then I thought about it, and I'm like, and here we have Rey Mysterio with a Cartoon Network series, proof that a luchador can absolutely cross over. And then the thought occurred to me, and he's not even WWE's. WCW got Rey Mysterio over.
Right.
WCW put Rey Mysterio on the map.
Yep.
And so, like, have they never really, like, successfully introduced a luchador to the world and made them a star? Like, I don't think they have.
They haven't.
No.
They can't count Rey Mysterio. You
No,
can't.
I wouldn't count Rey Mysterio because
I don't think you would count him.
No.
No. I don't know.
Say Del Rio. And,
I was about to say Sin Cara, but I don't think that's
no.
No, because like they had a lot of opportunities, and I feel like it
probably Kalisto.
But like I said,
they closest.
they
had Andrade, and now
well, I mean, Andrade.
So dumb.
Yeah, Andrade made his name way before.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are just like Rey Mysterio. They were already made
Mm-hmm.
dudes before they got to the.
But like, even if it was
show.
somebody who wasn't made on a mainstream level, because I feel like Rey Mysterio was made on a mainstream level before WWE, because WCW, like, he was in WCW and WCW was on top. Like, you know, I used to look forward to those matches. I used to love watching Juventud Guerrero's music plays in my head way more often than I like to admit. And I used to love when those matches would kick off a Nitro, like that hour before Raw, where all of a sudden Rey Mysterio comes out, Juventud Guerrero comes out, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
I think Juventud is probably, like, every time I talk about WCW, everyone always talks about Juventud. He made a lasting impact, legit.
He
man.
did.
Like, right next to Rey Mysterio. Like, he's right there, man. People loved Juventud.
Juvi stuck with me. Let's see what else we got.
And the thing that angers me with what you're saying is you're right, because then they've had luchadors that they could make in a household name. Look at what Lindsey Dorado is doing for himself online right now. He's way more personable than he had ever been with that company after he left.
People didn't even know him on the roster.
You've got Lindsey Dorado so good too, and they had Grand Metalik there all that time.
Grand Metalik was insane. Oh my! Those cruiserweight classic matches. Oh my!
Like,
God,
it is crazy that they
have
have, except for Rey Mysterio, they've pretty much failed every mask.
Every single one.
I feel like masks are merch. Like, as a company that loves selling merch.
Come on.
You know, I had Paul Griffin used to scream from the top of his lungs every week, like, why do you not sell Kalisto masks? Like, you want this guy over. He's a guy that you have him winning the United States title, all of that. Let me buy a Kalisto mask. Why can't I buy a Kalisto mask?
If there's a mask, people are going to buy it, like, regardless. So
and,
sell a mask.
And like, the only guy they sold masks for was Rey Mysterio. And like, how could you do that when you've had guys that literally print merchandise? Never made sense to me. Let's see. We had Ricardo says Fuego made Hook look amazing. I think Hook also made himself look amazing.
Hook did it.
Because his moves were clean. He could have executed that on a lot of different people. Let's see. Jester Design says, today's the 4th anniversary of my dad's passing, and he's the one that got me into wrestling, so I had to send a chat for him. Shout out to your dad, Jester.
Hey.
Shout out, Jester.
Let's see. We got Deontay with the Anna Kendrick says, yo, my dudes, hope y'all having a good day. Love listening as always. Y'all get me through work. Low key, people who don't think Riho is real, go touch grass.
Hey, man.
We're talking about pro wrestling, you guys, okay?
Shout out to Deontay. He gave me one of the biggest belly laughs when we first saw that Anakin.
that was pretty good.
And Alicia sent a Humper chat, R.I.P. Demarius Thomas. Man, that hit me so crazy. Hard the other night.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Only 33 years old.
Only
Jesus
33.
Christ.
Like,
Denver, the whole Colorado thing. Huh?
Yeah,
Damn,
I'm a Broncos fan. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't talk a whole lot about it because there's not much to talk about. Although Teddy Bridgewater, I've been a Teddy Bridgewater guy since we started him. But that got me so hard because same age as me, just a couple months younger, and I want to see guys make it out of their 60s, let alone make it out of their 30s. So.
Great.
Yeah, it's sad.
Tough one.
There's a weird Denver-Chicago connection with football because, you know, of course, Jay Cutler, Denver quarterback, came here. Same thing. Brendan Marshall played alongside Demaryius Marcus, come here. And, you know, Jimmy Butler, when he was here, he was a big Demaryius Thomas fan. Like, he had, like, a ton of Demaryius Thomas jerseys. I don't know if you guys have seen that picture of him sitting on his couch with all his jerseys across, man. So, yeah, you know, rest in peace, man. That's really sad.
Yeah, that was really sad. Damn. Ferdhausen says, Psychosis had an awesome mask. Man.
Yeah, he did.
He was another one that people liked, yeah. And La Parka, like, come on, man.
La Parka, man. Yeah. I love La Parka. He was my favorite to play as in Revenge. And so, all right. We got next topic because Final Battle.
It's tonight.
Yeah. So, Ring of Honor Final Battle.
Woo,
it's been down tonight.
It's been a big journey for Ring of Honor, man. They've even with just this show, they've been through a bunch of adversity. The main event has of course been changed. Was originally Bandito the ROH World Champion, facing Jonathan Gresham for the ROH World Championship. But Bandito was out with COVID-19, so they replaced Bandito with two-time ROH champion Jay Lethal. He will be wrestling Jonathan Gresham tonight. And hopefully, at the end of the night, it will be Jonathan Gresham with that ROH championship held high, and we'll all rejoice. But it's been a bunch of mixed emotions for Jay Lethal for sure. So that's everything Jay Lethal.
Have they announced what's going on with the title yet? I know they said they were going to deal with that today. So we don't know, like, is the title technically going to be on the line?
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
I don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we don't know anything now.
I guess they're gonna reveal that during the episode that shows before Final Battle. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, man, talk about a company that is stumbling on the way out of 2021.
Come on.
It's really sad to watch, especially with so many prominent Ring of Honor guys blowing up other places. I mean, you see Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson are like on the top of the world right now, and you would think that Ring of Honor could get it together and continue to make new stars. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's looking rough over there.
It's looking bad.
I am excited to see how Gresham finishes up the year with them. I do hope this is from the title, and if anybody deserves to hold that title coming out of 2021, it is Jonathan Gresham.
It is. I told AJ Gray last night, because he's wrestling Jonathan Gresham and GCW on next Friday. And I said, yo, you could potentially be wrestling the ROH World Champion at the end of the day if it gets there. And he said, I should be happy that he's wrestling. So, look, Hannah, be careful with AJ Gray. He's a handful, just like I said. He's crazy. He's a crazy person. But, yeah, no, beyond that, ROH has a really great card, man. They're showcasing a lot of this great talent, the great roster that they've always had. The Women's World Championship, Roxy versus Grapsody favorite Willow Nightingale's gonna be a great, amazing match. I wouldn't be mad if Willow Nightingale, got that W. And we saw Willow and John Gresham at the end of the night with them belts up.
Yeah, man, Roxy is amazing.
She's great.
That match for the inaugural title was really, really good. And man, if anybody I feel bad for coming out of this is Roxy, because I don't feel like she got a chance to really establish herself as a champion. I feel like if you've watched her other places, you know how good she is.
Right.
But yeah, it's just sad that, they were just getting going with that women's division.
Yo, I think that's the craziest thing about this whole thing is the women's division has been crazy. Like, they've been putting up matches. I think they have Women's of Honor Wednesday or whatever it is, and all the matches have been heat. So it's like, imagine if this wasn't going to be a hiatus, if we were just going into a regular thing, like what this women division would have been, man.
Yeah, man. Big names there, Trisha Dora, that Holy Dead there, Maxine Paler.
Tonight they got Allison and Marty out there. They got it's tough. It's stacked, man. Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to my longtime homie Maria Kanellis, who she did a great job.
She did.
They were doing it.
She knew what she wanted to see, and they gave her the opportunity to do it, and I feel like for a short time she got to do it. But yeah, it's looking like a great card. Super long card, got 13 matches. Or 12 matches. 12 matches. But yeah.
But I guess it's the last show. You got to go out with a bang.
Yeah, got to go out with a bang. Yeah, give that crowd, what is it, in Baltimore? Yeah, give that Baltimore crowd
one of their home bases.
Yeah, give them what they want to see. So it's going to be good. Ring of Honor Final Battle. I'll be watching.
Yeah, I'm going to watch too.
I'm going to watch too.
Yeah. It's going to be bittersweet, man. ROH has been around for a long time. I've watched a lot of ROH shows. I've been inspired by ROH. I've been to ROH shows during WrestleMania weekend. They have some of the greatest matches of all time. Bryan Danielson's Ring of Honor title run is one of the best ever. He wrestled Kamala. Like, come on, man. It's crazy out here. Matches he had with Kenta, the matches he had with Nigel McGuinness. Like, man, crazy run. Of course, I always say my favorite independent wrestling match of all time, Samoa Joe versus Kenta Kobashi, happened in Ring of Honor. That's a great match to watch without commentary. Like, how many matches do you watch without commentary? And just
Ring of Honor shaped what pro wrestling is today.
Definitely, 1,000%.
Now, granted, we got to talk about the fact that there's some unshaping happening because, of course, we have the WWE Next in Line happen. And here's the thing. I actually not nearly as against this as a lot of people are. Not against it at all, actually. I get why some are against it. And again, that is why I feel like you have to approach topics with nuance because some things aren't that simple. But like I said, Ring of Honor helped shape what pro wrestling has been for the last 20 years. And because pretty much if you matter in pro wrestling right now, you probably pass through Ring of Honor at some point.
Yep.
And the style of which they kind of helped craft and really shape. They shaped the indie scene, but of course, all of those indie wrestlers then moved up and helped shape the main event scenes everywhere you look. So,
Kevin Owens, Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah, there wouldn't be an AEW without Ring
Champion.
of Honor.
Like, it's crazy. So,
no, there absolutely wouldn't be an AEW. There would not.
Brian
be
Danielson was the
NXT.
Ring of Honor World Champion, and then he was the WWE Champion. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you look at most of the high-profile NXT feuds over the last decade or so, most of them are duplicated Ring of Honor feuds.
Right.
Yeah.
All the way down to
Kyle and Adam Cole. Yep. That was started there.
And so, but of course, WWE announced their 15 next in line hires to play on the name, image, likeness decision that came out of the Supreme Court this past year and allow college athletes to sign deals. So here now we have WWE signing athletes that they want to shape into pro wrestlers. I don't think there's any harm in that. I think
this is what they've been doing forever.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to discount people who don't have wrestling backgrounds coming into pro wrestling, then you're discounting a lot of people because you're going to discount Big E. You're going to discount
Roman
Reigns, right? You're going to discount
Bianca.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that did have that didn't have pro wrestling backgrounds that luckily were athletes that you could train into pro wrestlers. So I do think that it is not a bad thing. I think that what's interesting to me about that is how I don't think that you can discount the other side of it, the indie side of it, because you don't get a Stone Cold Steve Austin without somebody who grew up a pro wrestling fan and traveled the world and worked smaller shows and worked their way up and bounced between the top promotions. You don't get Steve Austin that way without having that kind of a run. You don't get Shawn Michaels. You don't get that kind of stuff.
You don't even get Triple H. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was on the grind before this. It wasn't just like he was an athlete straight to the WWF. It was like he was in WCW. He was out on the grind in the independent scene. It's a different thing. And there's a lot of the top guys of all time have been on both sides of the coin. So
and so I do think that there's two ways to do it, and I do think that I guess there's just multiple ways to do it, because I do look at somebody like AJ Ferrari, who because we got Kurt Angle,
what a
right?
Name, man. He's got
AJ Ferrari is an awesome name. If you don't touch that, like I said, if you don't change that name to fucking Biff Banner or something, then you actually that name's not bad actually, but don't. But and then you just shorten it to Biff when he gets to the main roster. But you can't. But when you have somebody whose name is literally AJ Ferrari, just run with that. That is such a name. But I'm looking at it we got Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle, one of the greatest of all time. We did get Brock Lesnar. Now, you run into a certain issue with somebody like a Brock Lesnar, right? Which is that Brock Lesnar didn't grow up watching wrestling. Brock Lesnar didn't care about pro wrestling. And so Brock essentially saw pro wrestling as just kind of one phase of his career. And then he moved to the next one and moved to the next one.
Money.
And so you do run into it with any of these guys who aren't necessarily pro wrestling fans.
Right.
You run into the idea that they may not see this as the destination for the
They
rest
might
of
be
their lives.
like, this some bullshit. This hurts, and I'm out of here. I'm not gonna stick around just for some money. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I imagine signing 15 people. I bet at best 4 or 5 work out.
Right.
And that's usually the case with big hiring classes. They usually don't sign all of them expecting them all to be a success.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not down on this. I do think that you can have success out of this. I just hope that it's not in lieu of signing pro wrestlers as well.
Right.
I
don't think it is. I think this is just like, it just seems weird because WWE announced it, but it's really just like what they've always been doing, and they're just following along with the.
I'll say it is in contrast to what they were doing before, because before it was just Regal and Hunter just like raiding.
Well,
indies.
yeah, that was that was.
It's definitely them like, okay, no more scouting indie shows, no more raiding the indies.
Right.
Like we're done with that. So
I don't know where that.
I immediately thought of Brody as TNT's champion yelling, "No more of you indie guys getting TV time." But no, I do think that some people are upset at it when you put it in connection with everything else they've done. I don't think it's just that they're doing this. I think it's also that they've released so many people and they put out this edict that they're not going to sign any more indie wrestlers. And so I do think that that's part of why some people don't like it. Shout out to Jay Bougie. You guys were all over his neck. Leave that man alone.
Jay Bougie.
He's a wrestler.
And that's the thing. As
He's on the scene.
I understand from Jay Bougie's perspective. I absolutely see it. Again, you have I feel like nuance is the topic of this episode. You have to approach things looking at it from a nuanced perspective, because look at it because I can understand if you see. You see what an indie wrestler.
Oh, did Will freeze on us?
Yeah, it looks like it. Sounds like it.
Jay Bougie had a point, man. Like I don't necessarily completely agree with his point, but he has a right to his opinion, especially as somebody that works in this industry and is a wrestler.
Exactly. That's what people forget, that like he's out there, he's a wrestler. So if they put out an edict that says, "Yo, we are not looking for you," I'm about to feel a type of way, bro. If you tell me you're not looking for my type, I'm gonna say something about it. And then you're like, "Oh, we're gonna sign all these people that don't even care." And I've been dedicating my life to this, and you're just signing some people for some money or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
That might not even work out. And that's why I'm like, he has a right to his opinion. And I think there were a lot of people getting mad at him that don't necessarily understand his opinion. And it's not even so much that they don't understand his opinion. It's just like, well, how dare you even express an opinion?
How dare you?
It's crazy. So no. You know, there's more than one way to look at this. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't disagree that you need to bring some people from the sports world, and you need to bring in people from independent wrestling that have always wanted to be wrestlers rather.
It has to be a mix, because who are the new college athletes going to interact with? They can't all just interact with each other. It's not going to work like that. You can't have two brand new first matches out the gate, people engaged in a feud. You got to have some people that have been out here. They know what this is. They know what pro wrestling is. They have some experience, because if everybody's brand new 1-to-1, it's going to be hard.
Man, it is a good thing I'm good at tech. Figuring that out.
I was confused at first because it sounded like you were still talking, and then it was like, wait, is he froze?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, everything just crashed. But anyway.
Then it's crazy, because then look what Lash Legend did last night. Now it's like, she's exactly that. She's a college athlete. She came from this background, probably didn't give a shit about pro wrestling, but like, look at everything that she done. She has charisma. She has the look. It looks like I didn't see the match, but I saw a couple clips, and it looks like she got something. So like, it's up in the air, man. You never know. It's we're just gonna have to see, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some other news, such as. All right.
The boys are
I'll admit
about red hot news.
Man.
Red hot news.
Man.
So I'll admit, I thought that look, man, the way they're playing up Gargano, I mean, he's got to be staying, right?
You said it in our group chat. You were like, he might be staying, and Phil was like, nah, I don't think so, bro. The way he was talking.
I mean, like, and there's a lot of people, because, you know, even Dave Meltzer said this week that the WWE is under the impression, and I talked to somebody in the WWE office this week too who feels he's under the impression that both are staying.
Mm-hmm.
But
insider insight over here.
But
thought we was AEW shells, but
hold
we got
on.
that WWE plug, baby.
Hold on. There's a but there. And that is that nobody who is fully interested in staying would let themselves go completely into free agency without at least wanting to know what the other side is offering, right? Because, like, you know, Randy Orton, there was all that talk of his contract expiring and him possibly using AEW as leverage, but he never let himself go into free agency. He eventually just ended up signing with the company. Mm-hmm. And, like, people who fully intend to sign with the company, I think, wouldn't let that happen. They wouldn't let themselves become a free agent if they're fully intent on it. You know, there was all the talk of Bryan Danielson, you know, he'll probably, you know, end up re-signing with the company. If he was going to do that, he would have just re-signed. Right. But he did at least hear what Tony Khan's talking about. No, I don't think at all. Like, Johnny Gargano opening a Twitch account.
Yeah, that was all that news happened right before Johnny Gargano was like, actually, here's Twitch. Actually, here's Pro Wrestling Tees. Actually, here, so like,
that was
he's
it.
like, no.
I think we kind of knew it during War Games, because watching the War Games match, him coming out to Rebel Heart, which I didn't expect to feel that way when Rebel Heart hit. Like, I was like, that was really a moment. Him coming out and having a fantastic performance in that War Games match, by the way, reminding you why he is who he is.
He's like, y'all gonna miss this.
Probably one of the best NXT performers of all time. And I was just like, yeah, this feels like it's it. Like, afterwards, like, this felt like his last NXT pay-per-view. And so when he gave the promo the next day, and I was sitting listening to the promo with certain parts of it, that this is a guy that looks up to Bryan Danielson, and there were a lot of parts of that promo that sound like things that Bryan would say. And I mean, you could tell it was goodbye, because he was bringing up all these people from behind the scenes. The fact that he said that, you know, I wasn't supposed to be an NXT guy, but Regal kept bringing me back, and that was very bizarre, because we haven't seen Regal. We haven't heard nothing about Regal forever, and he's shouting out all these guys that we have not seen on TV. And you look at it like, Beth's leaving, Scotty's leaving, and again, we haven't seen Regal on TV. We haven't seen Triple H on TV. I was wholly expecting Triple H to come out and give him a hug, and he never came out, which was really weird. And I feel like that said everything. I feel like that basically told us he was gone. But the line that really told me is when he was like, man, you know, sometimes change just has to happen, and the best thing I can tell you guys is to bet on yourselves. And I was like, he's gone. Right. When he said that, I was like, he's gone.
Can't be betting on yourself working for this company.
What else would bet on yourself mean? He's not saying bet on yourself and go to the main roster. I don't believe that. You
can't bet on yourself doing that.
Yeah, and I will be fully willing to eat my words if we get, like, back to February and he signs and he's back on SmackDown or Raw. I'll be fully willing to eat my words, but I think he's gone. Just the next day, and soon as his free agency was announced, that Pro Wrestling T-Link dropped, and then a Twitch dropped, I was like, nah, he's deuces, bro. Like, I'm out of here.
Like, so I think the bigger tell to me, because I'm like, okay, so Johnny got a big send-off, and to me, I'm like, you know, WWE has, like, done false send-offs, right? Like, you remember they had John Cena come out and do that goodbye and then come back later in the night. And it was... So, like, I'm not above WWE doing that kind of thing. Whereas, like, Kyle O'Reilly, on the other hand, just got, like, dumped like garbage.
Oh,
like, it was
God.
like...
They did Kyle so wrong.
What was that?
Of course, wrote an article about this for Bleacher Report. But just the way that they've booked him since last year. I mean, he had arguably match of the year with Finn Balor at TakeOver 31.
Yes.
And I felt like after that match, you could easily say, like, he should be the next NXT champion.
Yeah.
And after that, he got the rematch and lost. Then, he got some other feuds, but you could see he was slowly drifting out of that world title picture. You could see that the moment was passing, and they never tried to heat him back up. I thought the Cole feud was going to heat him back up, and once Cole was gone, they were like, "All right, well, done with that. Here's Von Wagner." It's like, and I mean, if if you didn't know they were done with Kyle O'Reilly, the biggest indicator of that was getting to the first episode of NXT 2.0 and him getting taken out of the title match, and Von Wagner got introduced. That was all you needed to know.
Von Wagner, bro.
And
Kyle
I feel like
O'Reilly.
Yeah, I feel like we should have known then that Kyle was probably gone. But, you know, and like I've seen people saying that, like, well, Kyle might be back. Listen, the way Kyle tweeted after that and was like, "Hey, it's not goodbye." I was like, "Yeah, he's out."
Kyle is gonna. He has so many places to go. He's not coming back to WWE. He's gonna try to go to Japan. He's gonna try to. He's not coming back.
Man, are you? Look, I have been fantasy booking in my brain. Like I've been going to sleep thinking about. All right, Red Dragon's gonna face.
Right. He's not coming back, bro. Come
not
on.
coming. Yeah,
the whole crew's over there. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
And it should be said, I don't think Kyle gets the credit he deserves. Kyle, in my opinion, is the second most consistent member of Undisputed Era. The only reason he's not the most consistent is because he's got like one of the most over guys standing next to him. But he's the only.
You're talking about Roderick Strong, right?
But yeah,
I think Roderick Strong's the most consistent in the ring. If we're talking, if we're keeping it a stat.
But Cole's the star, though. Like,
I mean,
I mean,
if we're talking in the ring, Roderick Strong is number one.
I would say it's Kyle because when you look at the matches he's had, that NXT Takeover Chicago match with Oni and Birch, come on, man, like that match
Kyle
was incredible.
The
Imperium matches he was having, he's the only three-time NXT Tag Team Champion. He's the only guy to win Tag Team of the Year for NXT 3 times in a row. He's the man. And
when I saw that, expecting these two to resign, I'm like, if getting Kyle O'Reilly to stay was pairing him with Von Wagner, this is the worst negotiation tactics in the history of
listen,
negotiations.
I know that some people are going to look at this and go, we're sitting here saying put him in Redragon, and we're saying it was a demotion to go from a world title to, you know, being in a tag team with Von Wagner. But we're talking about one of the greatest tag teams we've ever seen in Redragon. Bro. And I'm not exaggerating. They are.
And they've been throwing hints over there, like the Young Bucks, like, yeah, no, we faced him before. We know Bobby Fish, man. When Bobby Fish came in, like you're talking about Red Dragon, but we talking about this. It's happening. Come on.
I mean, like, God, just thinking about like the possibilities all of a sudden of what you can see from Red Dragon, right? Because I'm thinking about, okay, you know, they could go straight for the tag titles, but don't do that yet because there's a lot of others I want to see. But I think Jurassic Express is a phenomenal tag team that needs to be in the conversation more because Luchasaurus has one of the best hot tags going today. And I'm like, okay, Lucha Bros. Not Lucha
it's
Bros,
going to be interesting to see what happens.
Express.
You guys think the Jurassic Express is next for the tag titles?
I think they're at least next to challenge, but I can see like Christian doing the turn on them before getting in there. But I think, without a doubt, I've seen the name tossed around a lot, and I think it is the ultimate troll to people who have been like, I hate Adam Cole in the Elite. I want him to be back with the Undisputed Era. That group is going to be called the Undisputed Elite. They're going to do this.
Don't do that.
No, they're absolutely going to do
tremendous.
the 3. They're going to throw up both, right? They're going to throw up the Undisputed Elite.
God,
they're going to be
that's so good.
They're going to be Undisputed Elite.
That is so.
I don't want it.
People are going to hate it. It's so
good, and people are going to be so mad because this is going to be. And honestly, I see them all as a combination. I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to happen as soon as Wednesday. I think that we see
O'Reilly's pulling up.
We see O'Reilly pull up, and like there's like a stare down. It's like you see like O'Reilly and Fish on one side. You see the Bucks on the other. You see Cole staring between them. Who does he choose? And then they all do one big like 5 group hug, and you have Cole as the leader with both tag teams beside him.
Yeah, they're gonna do the Power Ranger pose, like. But no, I could definitely see because I'm sorry, Reg, but I think Brian's losing, and I could definitely see Brian losing that match and the Elite standing over them afterwards.
What the Elite got to do with this?
Because.
I think Adam's challenging next.
Adam Cole's next.
What did Brian do the first night he showed up? He came out and he interrupted the Elite.
He did.
So the Elite coming out after that match makes perfect sense.
You know what I do find interesting about Bryan, by the way? Because I know he's like full heel right now. But, you know, WWE, AEW, like, very much emphasizes the tunnels, especially lately now that fans are, like, hip to it now. Because it was a thing that where, like, people didn't really know. But Bryan still comes out the babyface tunnel. And I've been wondering about that. Of, like, is he just, like, heel for this feud?
It seems like
he said that. He did said that he's just like, I'm not a heel. I'm just me. And that's why he's going to win the AEW World Championship on Wednesday at Winter is coming.
Because I've been looking at it.
See you
like,
later, Hangman.
Because like Cody this week did tease it. Cody, you know,
Cody's funny, dude.
He was at the top of the ramp, and you know, he was like from one good guy to another, and then he like walked, and then toward the heel ramp was like, oops, and it turned around and went right back there.
Cody is great, bro.
Cody's great. Man. He's good.
I do like
little thing.
Look, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because I'm like, does a heel and babyface tunnel like really make sense? And then somebody explained, they're like, well, yeah, like, you know, if the idea is supposed to be that they lead to two different locker rooms, like why would these people that hate each other be in the locker room with the people that don't? So I'm like, okay, like with that explanation, I'm fine with that. But the part that gets me is how used to it I am now, to where if somebody comes out the wrong tunnel, I'm like, like mentally, I'm like, whoa. What's going on?
What were you doing over there?
Like, did this person turn? like it is that, because the only thing I truly hate about it is that AEW got to be consistent with it. Right. I don't care where the hard camera is. Heels on the left, babyface is on the right. But like in the arenas where the hard camera's on the reverse side, they've reversed it for the fans, and I'm like, no, don't do that, because now I'm thrown off as a viewer because I don't see where the hard camera is. I just see left and right. And, and that's going to be the case because I'm pretty sure the arena that they're doing Revolution at has the hard camera on the other side, and so everybody's gonna be coming out in reverse, and it's gonna throw me off for an entire 4-hour pay-per-view. So don't do that. But yeah, so Kyle O'Reilly, I think he goes. I think Kyle O'Reilly's like very quickly, like very soon.
You're like, he's pulling up right.
I think
he's pulling up as soon as possible now.
Well, people forget that there was literally only 8 days between Adam Cole's last NXT match and his AEW appearance.
Right, he did show right up.
He showed right up. It was like, man. He had the match with Kyle, and then 1 week later, he was in AEW. And so, to me, I'm like,
same thing.
It would make perfect sense for Kyle to show up 8 days later, right? Because it would be the Tuesday he was in on NXT. 8 days later in AEW, like that would make.
If you want to read the tea leaves at all, the way that he expected Wagner to turn on him, and he threw up that Undisputed Era afterwards. I was like, yeah, he's out of here. Then he threw that suck it in there. I was like,
everybody said he was like Bret Hart with the WCW in the air. I'm like, yo,
I don't even think it's just that. Him doing the suck it at the end, I was like, yo, do you think that some of these guys that are Triple H guys that are leaving, they kind of have his blessing to leave? I wouldn't be surprised.
Ooh. That's good.
I wouldn't be surprised. The way he did the sucking at the end, I was like, yo, what's going on, man?
A lot of wrestlers that Triple H really, really, really championed and really liked were released. So, I mean,
I don't know. The fact that he did both, I was like,
right.
And like I said, the fact that when Gargano finished up that promo and everything, Sean came out and he was all happy about him leaving. Well, not happy about him leaving, but he was all gracious about the entire situation. And we still haven't seen Triple H. Like,
we haven't.
I don't know, man. It's all very weird. Everything's going on with NXT is very bizarre.
It's so weird.
So weird.
I agree with what you said the other night, that this possibly could be like the last pay-per-view when Phil was saying that for NXT, because I don't know if they could do this in this current format. Like, it's not a takeover. It's not a takeover.
No, it's not a takeover.
Worthy, you know. No. So
I'm gonna repeat what I said on RBR, because I do have concerns about the as NXT as it currently exists, and that's beyond just the silliness of it all. More so, just thinking about how you look at you know, when WWE was like really training people like from scratch, and they had the OVW class, and everybody loves that OVW class.
Yep.
Because That was Cena, that was Orton, that was Batista, that was Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar. It's a great class of wrestlers.
Yes, it is.
But one of the things that class got to do was not be scrutinized by social media and not be on national television. And, OVW was airing regionally, and if you wanted your hands on OVW stuff, you had to tape trade. There was a lot of stuff you had to do to get your hands on them OVW clips.
I heard about Brock Lesnar before he came in, but I never saw any footage because the
only footage I saw was this grainy ass shooting star press. Look at that guy do that shooting star press.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that's all I ever saw. But as far as Brock was concerned, as far as any of that was concerned, nobody ever saw any of that. And so they got to hone their craft, and they got to become what we later saw them be without being scrutinized by social media, without being put on national television. And I do very much have concerns about putting these guys right now on national television and social media clips and things where they could eventually become the stars of tomorrow, but they might be working with a handicap if they have a big botch in a match or a match that doesn't work out too well, and it's a clip that's circulated and people are like, oh, look at this guy, he botches all the time, he's not he's no good. And it's like, if you want to do what you did 20 years ago, you kind of have to keep it protected the way you did 20 years ago, and maybe treat it like an indie where like, this is stuff you can see, but you kind of need to go out of your way to do so. But I wouldn't put it on national television. I would do it in a way where people can, where they can at least experience wrestling in front of an audience, because that's important. That is something that needs to happen. You do need to have the crowds there. That is a big part of pro wrestling. But you don't necessarily need the television audience to see it.
Not on USA.
Not on USA. FS1 maybe, because that's or do some kind of regional sports. But I would not put this all the way out there.
I think NXT 2.0's days as a network television show are numbered. I agree. That is my prediction, and of course,
USA more than anybody is going to be like, "Yo, what is this, you guys?"
And of course, I'm not rooting for it to fail, but I just feel like their days as a network television show.
I don't want it to fail. I don't necessarily think it, for what it is, needs to succeed in the way that it's supposed. Like a success for NXT 2.0 should be. All of these wrestlers are stars on the main roster.
Right. Since we know this isn't the third brand like they were pushing with the black and yellow. Like we know straight up, like this is what this is for the next level,
So to me, the success of NXT 2.0 is wrestlers are successes.
Right.
I don't think NXT 2.0 needs to see success that is the rating success that is highly viewed, because you don't necessarily want that for these guys. This needs to be one of those I could see Braun Breaker having success later on, and a small sect of people being like, I remember Braun Breaker when he was wrestling in the colorful Ginny Jones building. I don't think he necessarily needs to be seen in front of.
But they try so hard when they get to the main roster now to make you forget about NXT. Like, I thought they didn't when they were talking about Finn Balor. I'm like, you guys don't even say anything that he did in NXT. You guys don't talk about any of his accomplishments. Like, what's the point of that brand? If you guys are not going to utilize the footage that you have, utilize all the stories that you told, you're just going to forget about him when they get to the main roster. What's the point?
They do it sometimes. They're inconsistent.
We got one last big topic to get to, so let's read these super chats. T. Daniel Barber said, I was going to go to Final Battle live, but not feeling so great. Feel better. And Shane Taylor and Kenny should be a banger.
We have to mention that. That's a long-time feud. Kenny King and Shane Taylor, they are just going to beat each other up. It's going to be great. But then be brothers at the end, okay? We're brothers, Shane Taylor and Kenny King.
And Alexander says, with two exceptions, on the male side, they signed 10 versions of the same guy. Vince is desperate to find Brock Lesnar, the last star WWE
Oh, my
created.
God. He wants Brock Lesnar so bad.
John Cena was after Brock, though. And
there's a certain Becky Lynch. I don't know. The last star they created.
Riley Walker.
Roman Reigns. Come on, let's relax.
Would love to see Gargano versus Danielson match, and a Gargano versus Jungle Boy match at some point, and a Red Dragon versus FTR rematch would be amazing.
1,000%.
Like I said, I have been on this. I've just been like, all right, Red Dragon, what are we doing? Let's get some matches going.
Yeah.
And I'm ready.
I want the Briscoes to sign with AEW too, man. Mix that up too.
I wonder what happened because they were supposed to be at a show not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm thinking
they're still teasing.
Everybody's waiting for this Final Battle show to happen and see what happens and move forward from there.
And they're still teasing FTR. So
they are in like a Twitter feed, so like they're setting it up already.
Max says guys like Rock, Reigns, Big E, Simmons, Austin, Flair, and DiBiase were Division I football players before wrestling. Promoters have been doing this for years. They have been. And Brent says happy Red Dragon noises. Let's see what we got. Brent also says
seriously
AEW could potentially create the most epic tag team tournament in modern history in 2022.
Could be
they've avoided doing tag team tournaments for a long time. We've seen multiple women's tournaments. Two just this year. We've seen men's tournaments happen, and we're about to. Matter of fact, we're about to see the Owen. And then we just saw the the world title eliminator. But it's been like 2 years since the last tag team tournament. The last one they did was the one for the titles. It's time for another tag tournament.
It is. It's time.
They kind of did a small one over the summer, right? With to determine that's how the Lucha Bros became tag champs.
Oh yeah.
So
they need to do a big one.
But I want like a big tag tournament, like 16 teams.
They got to do a version of Tag League or something.
Something like that. Definitely.
And then Dante V says, "Super undisputed elite dragon." Pogging you Force pose
Rock,
on
paper,
Wednesday.
scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I actually do want to see Undisputed Elite.
Undisputed Elite is good. I like it.
All right, so this next topic is gonna bring up a lot of stuff. So, Jade Cargill leaves Twitter. You know she's right? Like, I hope y'all know that the point she brought up that everybody came down on.
You proved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is what started it when she said that her picture got taken down and then she went on like that rant afterwards. I believe that was Saturday, wasn't it, or Sunday?
Hold on, I'm looking it all up now because.
Unfortunately, you can't look up her account because it's gone. So you can't look up when the tweets. I believe.
Well, so her Twitter's back, but I think that's just one of those like people forget that like if you just like click one thing in Twitter, it reactivates your account. But she at least isn't posting from it anymore.
Yeah, that was Sunday, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is right, and I know it's easy to go, oh well, everybody has to deal with toxic fans. But I do think that the experience of black women is very unique. And of course, I know that I am a black man speaking on behalf of black women. Of course, I don't speak for them. But I do see it quite a bit. I do see how people act in their mentions. I do see how, when I write about them, whether it be for Bleacher Report or somewhere else, how people talk about them in the comments. And it's very weird. People get very, angry when it comes to black women. I don't know why. So I get it. And she's absolutely right that, there's a sect of wrestling fans that hate black women. I don't know why, but they come down very harshly on them.
It's unfortunate.
And it's not just Jay. Like she said, she's not bringing this up for her. Cause the thing,
yeah, so what she said was, so her original tweet, she posted on December 5th. She said, "What do some, not all, of you fans have against black women wrestlers? I hear it so much and it sickens me. It's 2021. I'm talking about it because everyone else is scared. I'm not." And then she followed up with another tweet. She said, "It's not just about me. It's about black women wrestlers in general, and lie about it and say you don't see it." And so, yeah, it is. I don't know how you can't not see it. I feel like
you don't want to.
Whether it's
exactly.
Whether it's Naomi, whether it's, let's not act like Bianca got the love she gets, and still
doesn't.
Still doesn't.
If you look at certain parts of Twitter, no, the way that some people talk about Sasha is kind of crazy. I mean, even
people chanted Sasha's ratchet.
Yeah, even if you go all the way back to Alicia Fox, the way people talked about Alicia was kind of crazy. And I mean, so that's across the board. I mean, and I mean, I still will never forget. I think that Red Velvet had a fantastic year.
Yep.
And the second she botched that moonsault, people clowned her for it, and I hated it.
That's exactly what Will was talking about with the NXT 2.0 people. Is like they're trying to attach this botch thing to her because they saw her in her early stages. You know, it's like come on, you guys.
She's had great performances, man. Like I don't know, man. I mean, I just think people judge women's wrestlers a lot harshly than they do other wrestlers in general. It seems like with black women, I don't know if it's because they haven't routinely been marketed well by companies. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have this, stigma around them that they are kind of outsiders in this thing.
Yep.
And I don't think I'm often saying that because I do think that black women are not marketed well. I don't think that black women are particularly marketed too well by
Jazz. Never got a action figure. She never got merch. She never got anything.
I mean, even look right now. Naomi doesn't have that much merch, and Naomi is killing it right now. By the way, she's on. She was on Jalen Rose's podcast. She's going to be on Wendy Williams coming up.
How do you know? I would absolutely have because I want women's titles, and I for a long time was going to get a SmackDown women's title. I want that glowing belt. Like
how have they not done it?
How did you not sell that?
Right.
Yeah.
Easy merch. I mean, I don't know how easy it is to manufacture, but do a limited edition run of it because. And I know some belt makers who have reproduced it, so it's not impossible for a billion-dollar corporation to produce.
I mean, they did. Remember that Fiend belt that they did? They could do wild shit.
Yeah,
so
and you could do limited run stuff, especially with LEDs.
Right.
Yeah, they make all of those tacky, recreation belts for. Like they had the Taker belt that came out, or that Ultimate Warrior belt that came out. You can do it for somebody that is on your roster and has been there for over 11 years.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's right. NXT 1.0. Early. No, sorry, that's NXT 0.5 beta. But the women's NXT. You make the rain fall. Yeah, I forgot. Naomi was in that.
That's crazy, man. These years are going by.
Man, Naomi does not get enough credit, in my opinion. I think that
no, she's a veteran now, and
she is.
You got to be talking. It's weird how we still kind of talk about Naomi like somebody who is one day gonna get her moment, one day gonna get her shine, and she's a two-time women's champion. But we still have this conversation of one day is gonna happen for Naomi, and it's like Naomi's a veteran. She debuted. It's not. And I'm not just saying has been wrestling for 10 years and made her debut on TV 5 years ago. She has been on TV on WWE television since 2010
consistently.
Yes, This is what I'm going to say to that, because every time I say that she deserves more or she should be doing more, there's always that one person that goes, oh, she was a two-time champion. That ain't enough. I'm saying it. That's not enough. Why do we always have to settle for that one title reign? Well, we gave you the title that one time. No. And again, she should be multiple-time women's champion.
And, of course, saying two-time women's champion is a bit misleading because she won the women's title at Elimination Chamber that year and then had to relinquish it the following Tuesday. So was champion for 3 days. And then she won the belt at WrestleMania that year on a match that was originally scheduled for the pre-show. And fans complaining enough about it, although I don't think it was truly the fans complaining about it that did it. I think it was that they realized that Naomi's entrance wouldn't work with the sunlight out, and we're like, we have to move this to we have to move this to it's an outdoor venue, so we have to do this at when it's dark. And I think that was the entire reason behind it. But that was it. She had that reign, and then it ended so unceremoniously too, and she just never got back there.
We have never gotten a payoff to how great her Royal Rumble entrance was when she came back.
Charlotte just gave it up to her in a video, saying that was the best entrance of the night. It was incredible. That Naomi's incredible, and still nothing.
Nothing with it. I'm saying it because I'm trying to manifest it. Naomi should be the Royal Rumble winner this year, and I'm not going to stop saying it until they actually do it.
Like, it has to be a payoff for the Sonya thing.
I have a hunch, though, that it's going to be a thing. I mean, and there's another thing, talking about black women in pro wrestling. We all collectively got really frustrated at what happened with Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. And we were all told, let it play out. Let it play out. You're being impatient. It's a storyline. Let it play out.
It's been 3 months.
It's December. And I did let it play out. She feuded with Becky.
How long were we supposed to let this play out?
Had some great matches, and then lost. And, of course, I was still told after she lost, let it play out. She'll be back. She might even win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania. And I still think that may happen. Except you ran into another issue now. Liv Morgan. Where you kind of got Liv Morgan over, and people want to see her win the title now. And
I feel like people are it's going to work in reverse if they have Bianca win twice in a row because fans are dumb. Yeah. And they're going to be like, again? Because they're dumb. So.
And now you have Liv Morgan in position to where people want to see her be the one to beat Becky. And all of a sudden now, and I said at the time that it already looks bad for the record books that no matter how you slice it, Bianca Belair lost her title that she won at WrestleMania in 26 seconds. And then it was a SmackDown Women's title, and it was drafted to Raw, where now she can't get the SmackDown Women's title back. And if you have her, say, win the Rumble and go challenge Charlotte, then you run into the issue of, she never got revenge on Becky, so Becky is still the woman who beat her in 26 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot that honestly could have been avoided by, I don't know, having Bianca just lose in a match. Because pro wrestling is pro wrestling. Why not just have people lose in matches?
Especially on your 500-hour show that you can afford to have a match on.
Especially on a show that you had a fucking segment where Miz and the New Day and Morrison played with water guns.
And so then even worse is they tricked us into thinking that Sasha Banks was going to be there all the way up until the match started.
Bruh,
God, I don't want... God, relitigating this one is
come on. That might be even crazier than Kofi. Kofi is, I get my blood boils when I think about Kofi, but they set Bianca up even worse.
Yeah. To play that entire video package and show all the history behind it and everything of that match at WrestleMania, and then to have her lose like that was awful.
Crazy. That's
crazy.
Was
awful. And I mean, I don't care how they book it and fix it. That still was a horrible way to do it. I just don't care. It still was going to go down as one of the biggest blunders of this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, people will compare it to Bryan if it does work out, right? If Bianca does win the Rumble and go to WrestleMania, they'll be like, see, just like Daniel Bryan, it worked out. You screwed him at SummerSlam, but he came back around and won it at Wrestlemania. But again,
you know what? I'm tired of them taking credit for that too. They didn't want to do that with Bryan. They did not want to do it. We forced their hand.
We forced them. We forced them to do it. They didn't want to do it. They told us 500 times, we don't want to do this. This guy looks like a goat. He's dumb. He's this. He's a vegan. Blah, blah, blah. They didn't want to. We forced them. We forced them to do this.
Bryan has outright said that the Wyatt family thing was not originally supposed to be a swerve.
Right.
That they just counted on people not watching SmackDown at the time. But Bryan came out and cut a "You People" promo on the fans when he joined the Wyatt family, and was like, "You people didn't really love me. You just love my chant and all this stuff." He did all of that when he joined the Wyatt family. So don't act like. And then, like Bryan said, the furry boots he wore at WrestleMania were originally Wyatt family gear. He was originally just going to be a part of the group, and that they bailed. But as far as back on the topic, the original topic, Jade Cargill gets scrutinized a lot by, and we hear words that one, I don't think wrestling fans should have ever learned. I don't ever want to hear a wrestling fan use the word green again.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Because it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that last night being at this show. Wrestling is so hard. When people are talking about this wrestler did this wrestler botched. You know how hard it is to put together a match and then the next day do it again, and then the next day do it on national TV in front of 1 million people? Do you know how much that takes? It is not an easy thing.
To go back to what he's saying with the green thing, the guy that we've just spent almost 24 hours talking about, he had his first wrestling match last night.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would accuse him of being green, even though he looked great in that match. Nobody's accusing him of nepotism or anything like that. And that's why I'm like, I think people just pick and choose when they want to use these things in wrestling.
Definitely.
And it seems like it happens a lot with the women. And that's why I'm like, I think the way that they've carefully protected Jade and they presented her in a way to make her look like a star And I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I think she's gonna win this tournament.
She's
gonna be the inaugural TBS champion.
Yeah.
And I just think the fact that people have been so against it from the very beginning. Every time I predict that, people are like, "Oh, she's not ready yet." Well, let her show you she's ready.
Yeah. So, and somebody in the chat says, "So what would you call it then? If we can't call it green?" Look. So, again, I think it's just a fundamental. Not.
You don't get to say that.
Yeah,
you don't get to judge everybody for every situation ever. It's just like a wrestler. You can't say that. That's for people that
don't even know
in the business. That's an in the business term that people use, and you're not in the business, so don't use it. How about
and I've
that?
not even seen like anything like egregious from Jade the way because you would think the way people talk about it that we're seeing like every match is that Jackie Gaeta match, right? But like I haven't seen that from her. As a matter of fact, I have 2 matches that out of 2 people in pro wrestling that are 2 people that we've talked about here that were actually great. I think every time Jade Cargill has stepped in with Red Velvet, I've been impressed. That first match they both had at what show was that? It was on St. Patrick's Day Slam, I think it was. That first match, very good. And then they turned around and did it again in the TBS tournament, and I thought it was very good. And like, yeah, you could pick out 1 or 2 spots that weren't exactly clean. You know who else isn't a very clean wrestler? CM Punk. But but at the end of the day, he does convey what needs to happen, and it's still great matches. I still think like again, it's one of those things where you're only attaching it to her because she's newer. But like Charlotte versus Bianca Belair, that was probably one of the least clean matches I've ever seen in my life. But it was still a great match. It's just not everything connected. Not everything looked super clean. And there were times where Bianca was watching the clock because all of a sudden Raw is like, oh shit, we're about to hit time. And because people that don't know, there is a clock on the other side of the arena that everybody can see, which is very important for making sure shows end on time. But at the same time, match was great. But that wasn't a word people were willing to throw out at Charlotte because Charlotte's been wrestling 7 years. You're only throwing it out there because you're like, well, this isn't the person I've seen for a long time. This isn't the person who's had a ton of in-ring matches. So I'm going to throw the word green out at them. So you don't have to do that.
And there's some people that have been in wrestling for 10 years that are still green. So what the fuck does that mean?
You know what? I don't even think it's so much my issue is the fact that people are calling her green. It's the thing I see a lot in wrestling. There'll be one talking head somewhere that analyzes one person the same way, and then it'll spread like wildfire everywhere. And I've seen it happen with the Riho thing because a certain corny guy started saying certain things about her, and people ran with it. I feel like someone somewhere said that Jade was green, and everybody started running with it. And I'm like, she hasn't done anything in ring that looks bad enough for you to say that she is not ready to be champion. Nothing you have seen from her so far is saying like she's not ready to be a champion.
Right.
Yeah, and we got let's see. I want to read a couple of more chats because we got let's read. So we got some Humper chats. Let's read these. Alicia says, imagine trios titles in AEW and Cole has to choose his 2 partners to go after him. Will he choose the Bucks or Red Dragon? See? I feel like Undisputed Elite could be a great story.
I like it. There's a lot
you can tell there. Especially with Kenny coming back in a few months. Van Twin Blades
Did you see
says
Did you see Callis spying on them?
Yep.
You noticed that?
Van Twin Blade said, and this was from back with the NIL stuff, says, it's not about hiring college kids. It's about them shitting on indie people and disrespecting people like Lady Frost. Also, most of these kids are going to be Von Wagner's because Vince is bad at his job.
Yep. And also,
Wrestle Voice says, you guys are killing the game, and thanks, inspiring me to just write for fun. Good to see brothers like me doing this. I do think that Triple H and Michaels are going to be phased out eventually. I hope I'm wrong, but the E is changing a lot. Maybe. The other thing that I've said this week is that WWE has tried a lot of shit over the last couple of years, and none of it has stuck. So like this could very well just be one of those things where they're trying it and then give up. Like,
and they're like, you know what? Hey, Triple H, let's try it again.
remember Raw
Fix it,
Underground?
fix it.
Nah, of course not. Remember the third hour of Raw with the darkness and the hot seat that they did for 1 week? And like
when they were doing 2 out of 3 falls matches all the time, like what?
There's been so much in the last year of just like, let's just throw shit against the wall and then give up on it after a month. That until something sticks, I'm not willing to accept anything as a permanent change in WWE. So I don't know. Let's see. And then we got another one says, people show their real colors when they jumped on Jade. She was right in everything they said. The new code now is that she is green and just pulling another race card. Culture vultures are trying to eat but need to starve.
That's a bar.
And
man, it's definitely a lot of culture vultures out here, bro.
and then we got one last one we'll read here before we wrap. From Dante V, it says Kenny Omega and the Elite botched the powerbomb and made a joke about it. Everyone laughed. People really show their colors when criticizing women.
Yes, they do.
There you go.
Again,
That
bars.
couldn't have said it any better.
Like that, because that was it. Nobody stuck on that. It was just like
they make jokes out of all their stuff on being the Elite all the time. Their botches, all the stuff.
Botchamania is a thing on the internet. It's a fun thing to watch, but I find it funny that when it happens to women, it's all of a sudden, oh man, she's no good. Get her off TV.
Yeah, and like, I really do think Jade's winning the TBS title. I think this tournament is being positioned for her. I even think that the final is like spelling itself out in a way that maybe people aren't realizing. But like, look at Ruby Soho and how Ruby Soho is kind of being positioned to overcome the giants in the division. That she has defeated Chris Statlander and just barely did it. And then she'll beat Nyla Rose, but it'll probably be a just barely. But then when it comes to the giant of Jade Cargill, that is finally where she can't pull it off. I think that's
it'll be good because everybody believes that Ruby can win too. So it's not going to be a total.
Hey, if you don't like that Jade is going to win, that's kind of the point because she's a heel.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right, folks. So, this has been another edition of Grapsody.
But real quick, 2 Hill women's champions sounds kind of wild. All right, great. You've been It's been Grapsody.
Hey. Wait. Reg didn't pick a number.
Oh, I didn't.
All right. Well,
it's me today, you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
next week.
It was a long night.
It's me today.
I'm number 501. I'm the Black Wrestling Rap.
Yeah. All right, folks. Yes, come back next week. And thank you, everybody, for your super chats. Thank you for your for being here, for being with us on a Saturday. Everybody who turned out tonight or today, it's still middle of the afternoon. Again, leave us a thumbs up and come back next week. We're here at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We are here at youtube.com/Fightful. And for Mr. Righteous Reg, for Philip Lindsey, I'm Will Washington. We will see you next time and have a great day.